Here's a simple writing trick. It's used all over the place, and you probably may not have consciously thought of it, but at the heart of a lot of stories is what they call a knowledge differential, differences between the knowledge that the audience has, that the characters have as a group or as individuals. I'll tell you what I mean. The first technique is the audience knows more than the characters or your main character. I won't keep doing that every time, but you get the idea. The audience knows more than characters in the film 2012, which was a disaster film, and we all knew it was a disaster film because the world was predicted to have ended in 2012. And right now, someone's predicting the world will end. No, 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 it's going to be next week. But, well, in 2012, we walk in, we sit down at the cinema, we're having a great time waiting for the film, and whoever walks on, we know something they don't, which is, they're getting a clue that the world is going to end because we have that information that they don't have in their pockets. Now, this can work in comedy. The misunderstandings and misinterpretations that create all sorts of comic situations start with us knowing more than them on the screen. Sometimes they will be so simple and so simply set out that it's just a springboard for us to be funny. In the second American sitcom ever made, called The Honeymooners, starring Jackie Gleason and some other very funny actors, there is a situation where Jackie's wife has gotten a letter, and they have a rule where you don't read other people's mail, even if you're married to them. It's their mail and they should answer it, which is a perfectly common sense rule. But not for the character played by Jackie, because he just can't help himself. He sees a letter to his wife from a doctor and thinks, I've had a few heart troubles lately. I've got to read it. And sure enough, he opens up the letter and he reads it. And the letter says what we all know, which is that his wife's loved one is going to die. The doctor says, I'm very sorry, there's nothing we can do, and your loved one is going to die. Well, of course, Jackie is completely thrown out of kilter. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. We know that the letter is from the family vet. It's about the family cat who he hates. But we're enjoying watching him going through paroxysms of just fear and terror as he looks upon impending death, which is typical of comedy to pick something like impending death as a fun thing to talk about. Now, his wife doesn't know that he's read the letter. She's read the letter and he has. So when all of a sudden she comes home and he's hugging her and he's kissing her and he's telling her about how beautiful and wonderful she is, it's a complete character change for Jackie. He's never like this. He's more like a gruff Fred Flintstone-y, impatient kind of character. So she's like, aren't you nice to say all these lovely things? And eventually he can't take it anymore and he says, all right, I read the letter from the doctor. And her response is perfectly normal because she thinks it's the letter from the vet. So when he says, I read the letter, what are we going to do? She says, I wouldn't worry about that. It's going to happen. You've got to be philosophical about this stuff. Philosophical? Yeah. Well, I can always get another one. Get another one? Well, they're walking around down there in the alleys, walking in the alleys, you're going to get... And so everything she says, because she's misinterpreting what Jackie's talking about, and of course he's misinterpreting her, is a classic comic knowledge differential, where we know more than both the characters do, which is that Jackie's made a mistake. As the story unfolds, other characters are brought in, and then we see all sorts of other complications. Jackie's going to die, all that sort of stuff. But very simple. So that's the audience knows more than the characters or a character. And we love doing that because we get to sit there on our couches feeling so smart, or watching it on a phone, on the train, on the way to work. We just feel so much smarter than these people. Because why can't they tell it's from the vet? So you're giving the audience a sense of superiority to the characters and the subject matter, at least. Hopefully they don't keep that in their daily lives. Now, the second one is where characters know more than other characters. And the same thing happens, that there will be mistakes made. People will read the wrong messages into what other people are saying, a bit like the Jackie Gleason, "Oh, don't worry about that, I'll just get another one," which is a very normal thing to say if you have all the information. So we enjoy watching a character against all the other characters, and it's all about what they know. Who knows what when. There's a great film called Scream, which has given birth to, of course, the Scream franchise, which is up to number 7 at the moment, I think. And Scream uses knowledge differentials to humor the audience, because we're not really screaming or being terrified. It's a fun film, but also to keep the story kicking along. In the very first scene, the phone rings. Casey, played by a very famous star at the time, Drew Barrymore, who was like the golden girl, answers the phone. The audience assumes, well, gee, I didn't realize she was going to be in this film. She's a massive star. Great. She answers the phone, and a guy with a creepy voice says, "Hi, you want to talk about movies? What's your favorite movies?" Straight away asking questions about the movies. So in Halloween, what is the name of the main character and what do they do? And so we're having our own knowledge tested as we're watching. And watching it, we feel very comfortable. We know what's going on. We know who is the killer in the Halloween movie. And we know we're sitting back, taking it easy. But of course, even we've made a mistake. It was the guy's mother who was the murderer in the first film. Spoiler! But then slowly, as she listens and engages with this guy on the telephone, she realizes, oh, this is really bad. And then she realizes this guy is in the house. And then we see the guy wearing a ghost mask in the house. Oh no. And all of a sudden, halfway through the opening scene, he doesn't know where she's gone. So now we know Casey is hiding in the corner, but she knows that and he doesn't. Then they shuffle again, and just when she's worked out, oh man, you are here to do me harm, and he knows, yes, I am here to do you harm, and he pulls out a big knife. What do? Now everybody knows everything. We know they know what we know. What do? Bring in the parents. Her parents arrive home, clean slate. They don't know. They don't know that her daughter's in danger in the house. All they find is burning popcorn. They don't know that. So we have a knowledge differential introduced into the scene just to kick it along a little further. Before she I'm sorry to spoiler alerts, passes away, she reaches up and pulls the mask off the murderer, and only she sees it. Again, it's a knowledge differential twist. She now knows more than we do, which is who the killer is. And then the parents come in and go, uh-oh, oh no, and then mum screams and we're into the movie. I use that example because it keeps changing. It keeps changing the relationship between us, between the characters in terms of who knows what, the knowledge differential. The third one is, everything comes in threes. The third one is that characters can know more than we do. If you're watching, I don't know, a Law and Order episode, most of the time the murderer knows who the murderer is, and the cops and the justice system have to try and nail them for it. They've got to find them, they've got to get rid of all the red herring possibilities, and we just like watching that, knowing that usually in this 1 hour show, the answer will be there, that everything will be resolved. Sometimes an episode starts where we only see from behind the gun. So we only see a gun and the person going, hello, no, 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 and doing all that stuff, being the victim. But the show starts and we don't know who the killer is. Or it can be the other way around, where we do know who they are. And why are these cops taking all day to work out what's going on? The tension that a knowledge differential can give you in terms of putting a funny story together are immense. And they go way back, all the way back to Little Red Riding Hood. She doesn't know, my grandma, what big teeth you have. It's a wolf. I remember being a kid listening to that story thinking, what? You didn't tell me she was an idiot at the beginning of the story. There's a fun gag, and also the name of a great Craig McPherson film, which is a guy is Inspector Clouseau is standing outside a hotel. The doorman is there with a dog on a lead, and Inspector Clouseau says, "Does your dog bite?" And the doorman says, "No." So Inspector Clouseau leans down, goes to pat the dog goes, "Ah!" bites at him. "Ah, you said your dog did not bite." And the guy says, "That's not my dog." Because he knew that's not his dog, but Clouseau didn't have the information. So in a small sense, in just getting one quick gag, same thing, who knows what and when do they know it, can be a really simple trigger for creating things that are funny. It's okay. The dog is okay, and so is Clouseau. Nobody was harmed in the making of this movie. But that's how it works. Audience knows more than characters. A character or characters know more than a character or characters. And then the last one is characters know more than we, the audience, do. You do this, you apply it, and quite often, if you are working with a team of people and you are writing as a group on say a sitcom, and you need to turn stories out, throwing in a knowledge differential can really take the story in new directions. So if ever you're thinking, oh, what do I do? This isn't making any sense. Think, well, hang on, who knows what? Can I exploit that? It's like being a president of America.